Hey everybody, it's Amber here with Tune In Tuesday for Hope Healing Our Past Experiences. And I just want to welcome you back again this week. Never mind the kids in the background, right? We just keep it real around here. So this is where we discuss the tough stuff, answer your questions, and share stories of hope. And so as I was thinking about and preparing for the video today, I really had the thought about perspective. And I think I'm going to be on this thought for a couple of weeks. From many different perspectives, no pun intended, but I've had some recent conversations with some girls who had really been affected by things that had happened to them that others would maybe just dismiss or not affect them as much, right? So I just want to touch on that. For example, I remember having a conversation with one girl about my age or so, and she was talking about things that would happen in the hallways during high school. You know, guys would smack girls on the butt, or they would grope their boobs, or different things. Boundaries crossed totally, right? But for her, she's like, it just never affected me in a way that, like, she's just kind of whatever, you know, it's just what guys did at that time. But for others, and especially if I think trauma had already been introduced, or depending on the temperament of the person, right, those things were life-shattering for others. Like, they really became hiccups and holdups in their own life. And so sometimes when we've experienced hurts in our life, it wasn't that it was even intentional from the other party. Maybe they thought it was funny. Not everybody's sense of humor is the same. And I am not minimizing or dismissing it. I'm just trying to bring in the way that other people look at that. Like, there may have been something that happened in your life that for you was pivotal and altering in that moment, and maybe your family just doesn't get it, right? And they've wanted to be like, well, why can't you just get over it? It was just, right? And you've heard me talk about just before. Like, anytime you heard the word just, we're minimizing it. And so you've also heard me talk about, like, those boundaries, like everything on this side is healthy and everything on this side is not, but there is a line right there. And if that line was crossed according to what your perspective was, if it is something that has caused a hurt in your life, then that hurt needs healed. No matter what other people's opinions are, no matter how far across that boundary, it doesn't matter, right? Like, let's just own what our own junk is. Quit comparing to everybody else's stuff, right? And so I just want to bring maybe a little bit of fresh perspective. And maybe like what has gone on in your family or in your school or even in your workplace. Like, I'm not naive to know, like, I've worked in several different places. I started working when I was 14 years old. And I remember things that went on in the workplace that crossed boundaries. And for me, what those things were like weren't earth shattering, although I've had other things in my life that were. I could see how for some temperaments, the things that had happened in that workplace would totally derail them, right? And so quit looking at somebody else's story or even your own story and thinking it wasn't that bad. If you are having after effects of whatever happened to you, then it was that bad in your eyes and it changed you in that moment. And I just want to encourage you that you can heal from that hurt. Don't let that hurt be your hiccup in life. Don't let that hurt be what infuriates you and angers you at times when you don't even know why you're angry, right? It's like you have the choice to heal from that. Next week, I really feel like we're going to talk about a different way to look at perspective and perspective on our situations, and how we can't really change our circumstances, but we can change the way that we look at them. So I just want to encourage you to come back next week. And again, we'll talk about perspectives, but a whole different view on that. I hope you guys enjoy this. Share the video, subscribe if you haven't done that. We're looking to really try to get hope in the hands of those who need it. So it takes you sharing and really doing your part in that, right? So I just appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and I'll see you next week.